이번에 할 작품은 Children of Morta입니다. 일단 스토리를 가보도록 하죠. 로그라이크 게임이죠.
Margaret awoke, startled, a cold sweat clinging to her. She gathered her thoughts.
집에서 깨어났죠.
Aged wood creaked, echoing through the quiet rooms.
웅장하네요, 집이.
Near the house stood a shrine to Rhea Dana, goddess and daughter of the land, of Rhea and a being of comfort. Margaret sought answers. But the goddess did not speak. There was only the faint whisper of something dark, something hungry. The old seer's bones felt the weight of their age as she climbed.
웅장하네요.
The only thought on her mind, has it begun again?
뭐가 시작됐을까요? 셀이 굉장히 많아요. Children of Morta 인트로였습니다.
John's mission would be a simple one. He was to investigate Rhea's greatest shrine. His mother presented him with a fresh divinity shard.
아, 가족인가 보네요.
From his brother came a newly sharpened sword. His wife gave him a kiss, and his daughter's hugs were full of reason to return home safe.
네, 이동합시다.
Rhea, a land long forgotten, a place of unimaginable beauty.
잠깐만, 한 번만 다시 볼래. 볼만한 게 없네요. 네, 가보자.
It first appeared as sludge given life, slithering
슬러지네.
creatures, small and vile.
변태죠? 쭉 갑시다. 처리해야 갈 수 있어요. 됐죠?
A wall, impeding further progress. A battle was certain.
끝났죠?
Banished by light itself, the corruption abated, leaving the shard cold in hand, dark, in need of life. The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy. The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy. Before him was now one more dangerous than those that came before. Goblins, a familiar threat, albeit farther out than usual. Magnificent, but dangerous, a land of love found and of love lost. Before him was sacred ground, left untouched in days gone by.
신성한 땅이라고 하죠.
Remaining calm and collected, the shock of his heart-skipping beats was concealed in expert fashion. Before him stood Linda, his eldest daughter, with bow and quiver at the ready, determined to do her part.
가봅시다. 끝났죠? 갈 수가 없네. 진짜 끝났겠죠? 세트.
Before the Guardians were not beasts feeding, but monsters consuming, destroying others. They corrupted and distorted, creating even more hungry husks.
난 재단 같은 게 있죠.
Both father and daughter gathered their thoughts, their hearts heavier than before. How would they explain what they had witnessed? The ancient tree had been cut down. Together, father and daughter described the horror, the creatures dripping with decay that slithered into bodies stuck between life and death to bolster their ranks. Grandma Margaret confirmed what they all feared. It was the corruption, a cruel entity spoken of only with hushed voices, an ocean of darkness that flowed from the top of Mount Morta. And the Bergsons' duty was to stand against this devouring deluge of death. Kevin was also eager to do his part in the family's fight, especially when his older brother Mark was off somewhere. He was as much a guardian of their mountain home as any of them. She stood. If they were to reach the summit and destroy this evil, as the Bergsons of old had done in the past, they would need the assistance of the sanctuary. Given to the Bergsons by Rhea herself, the sanctuary was a gateway to the mysterious lands around the mountain. Margaret pointed to the huge crystal at the center of the den, revealing their next task: to activate it and open the way to the source of the corruption. And once Rhea's 3 spirits are gathered on the grounds, the only gate to the top of Mount Morta will open in this chamber. By himself, or with the assistance of those who loved him, John needed to gather the 3 spirits from their lands. Without them, he would not be able to stem the flow of the corruption.
네, 일단
Halls of Anaidia must be here, or she needs to be found.
인다로 가죠.
A celestial shard chipped directly from the ancient crystal in the sanctuary. It would be the Bergsons' lifeline, a tether to pull them back home before death's fateful whisper.
공굴로 왔죠.
Filling the winding tunnels of the silk-covered caves, the acrid taste of poison lingered in the air. Spiders. Linda told herself it was only target practice. As she readied her bow, they must find the spirit deep within the caves.
이런 식으로 할 수 있죠. 일단은 치트를 켜고 갈게요. 일단 스캔을 해야 되니까. 네, 스킬 다 찍어줬고요. 이제 웬만한 거는 다 이길 수 있겠죠? 시력도 스캔해줬으니까요. 골드도 봅시다. 이 정도면 강한 편이죠? 골드 스캔 할게요. 골드 충분히 많이 쌓여있는 걸 볼 수 있을까요? 위로 가야겠네. 다 돌았는데? 아, 저 오른쪽에 쭉 가자.
Pilgrims, once lost in cavern mazes, are now trapped. Their poor families forever looking forward to a return that will never happen. Energy flowed around the room. Before the hero, an object of the divine. The halls of Anea, so mesmerizing in their magnificence, were to be found at the end of a long road. And a hero never knows what is awaiting them at the end of a road. Moving is more important than reaching.
동굴. 쭉 가면 되죠?
Not all in the caves were refugees. Some were just traveling merchants stuck in a bind. Strange-looking shopkeep dusted off his clothes, tipped his hat. He invited them to stop by his shop later, promising something for all adventuring needs.
쭉 갑시다.
All 8 eyes studied the one so willing to walk into their own tomb.
보스도 그렇게 어렵진 않을 것 같아요.
creature howled in anguish as death slowly beckoned to bestow its peace.
히트 풀고 갈게요. 잠시만요. 봅시다.
A way had opened, a step closer to the spirit at the heart of the caves. Though before taking that step, caution dictated a return to home to inform the family of the newfound passage.
변장 완료. 했고요.
Worried for the missing boy, Ben thought that maybe he should have hidden the daggers better. Margaret, in her wisdom, knew that nothing would have remained hidden from Kevin forever. Now she only encouraged her son and his daughter to hurry and find him. Kevin returned from his saga with barely a scratch, yet he found no appreciation from his family, especially his father. Despite having Linda on his side, his father was still mad at him for endangering himself and worrying them all, including his pregnant mother. His favorite line, asking how he could be so inconsiderate. He wondered whether Uncle Ben would understand his bravery and initiative better. With his heroic act unrecognized, the young boy waited, frustrated, expecting more punishment. What Kevin had not expected was his parents' reaction. Heartened by his courage, his father was going to teach him the ways of battle, and his mother was far from the frail and always worried housewife she had seemed. A Bergson through and through, she gave him her blessing and asked only that he temper his courage with caution.
새로운 캐릭터가 나오죠?
Perhaps Uncle Ben was the happiest of them all. Not only had his nephew held his own in combat, but had done so with the weapons he had made for him. Kevin only wished his older brother Mark was there to witness his rise to the family calling. Defeated, the Spider King had been removed from the path leading to the halls of Aneadiah, although the pestering of greedy goblins might still prove dangerous along the way. Uncle Ben was pointing out possible routes forward, speaking of the troubles pilgrims had run into in the lost trenches.
뭔가 중간중간 이렇게 기네요. 여튼 벤의 작업장 가서 풀 업글 해주고요. 최대 체력이 증가하죠. 이동 속도 나머지는 나중에 해금이 되겠죠? 이쪽에 있네요.
The past holds both joy and bitterness of time. Sheila could help them, as John said, but Ben could not bring himself to overlook the sting of their past relationship.
그 다음에
A mother away from her child would cause worry even in the best of times, and this was far from the best of times. It had been more than a year since Mark, Mary's eldest son, had gone to live in the monastery deep in the forest. The same forest was now the source of such worrying news.
그 다음에 다음 챕터로 가죠.
Drowned in the blood-soaked muck of these trenches were the path to the halls of Anaidiah.
잠시 쉬었다 갈게요. 자, 갑시다. 새로운 캐릭터 나왔죠? 그리고 지금 보면은 스킬이 이렇게 활성화가 되어 있습니다. 얘는 존이고요. 케빈, 존이네요. 최대 체력? 존도 괜찮은 것 같긴 한데 그래도 케빈에 가죠. 치명타 데미지 케빈 가야죠. 빼앗긴 참우고요. 일단은 스캔하고 가죠. 보면은 나머지 다 된 것 같고요. 쭉 가봅시다. 이동 속도가 굉장히 빠르네요, 개인적으로. 저기는 가지 말고요.
The further their quest proceeded, the more dangers there were to face. Even the dead had no claim to peace anymore.
여기 나오네. 그죠? 그가 다행입니다. 공속도 굉장히 빠르죠?
strange thing could have dragged grandmother this far. The will of Rhea will flow in those still obelisks to aid the Guardians. This was the only thing Margaret silently whispered. And the Bergson had to return home in order to understand what had occurred.
여기는 아직인가 보네.
The creature that now threatened the hero was a crudely focused inferno of hatred and malice. If one raging beast was not enough, surely two were. Letting out a final rasping breath, the second beast became motionless. The poor creatures, twisted by the corruption, were finally able to rest.
스캔 꺼지고 갈게요. 자,
A path to be cleared of the corruption, and the jewel of life to be restored, the realm of Dia, mother of beasts, and the goddess of waters. Before embarking for the spirit halls, however, the family must be informed of the newly opened passage.
또 새로운 캐릭터가 나왔죠?
While painful for a mother to see her son in sickness, was still better than missing him for so long. Mary knew that she would make caring for Mark her mission. Mark had to warn them about the dangers approaching, despite how difficult it was to talk. He started naming the villages that were evacuated, or worse, taken over by the corruption, but soon succumbed to fatigue and fell asleep. Mary recalled hearing of an herbalist in Caldipo Caves that would have the yarrow at hand needed to treat Mark. The Bergsons would once again need to brave the treacherous caves in search of the herbalist. The goblin siblings lay dead, and the pilgrims were now safer in their caves. But the last step remained to be taken. The warriors knew only that somewhere in the expanse of the caves was the ancient halls of the spirit who would reveal new truths to them. Mark was out of the woods now, his fever gone. He was almost up and about. "Welcome back, brother," said Kevin. He had avoided conflict over the years, living in harmony with nature, but as Uncle Ben was fond of saying, a Bergson would forget how to walk before they forget how to fight. The mysteries of the world were like open books to the wise, and words from the wise shall benefit man and beast.
필요한가요?
Whenever he could find time, Mark was reading about herbs and salves, his interest in medicine inherited from his grandmother.
급하죠.
The first guest to be summoned, Anaidia, was to be found in the darkest depths of the Keldipo caves. For a spirit to leave her domain, though, was no simple task.
새로이 마크가 나왔죠. 요시 마크 오면 바가 하나 더 늘어난다고 하네요. 그래서 마크를 해주죠. 케빈도 나쁘지 않고요. 이동속도 증가 나쁘지 않네요. 가면 봐주죠. 어쨌든 스캔하고 갈게요. 일단은 스킬 다 찍어줬고요. 가보도록 합시다. 굉장히 빠르긴 하네요. 다음 맵.
In front of the hero, an object of divine energies.
쭉 하면 되죠.
Bergson's hair stood on end from the ominous sounds of the unholy ritual. Whatever it was, would not be a happy affair.
얘들을 어떻게 해줘야 되나 봐. 다음 맵.
Summoners in a circle. Surely nothing would come from it. Who could have possessed such a powerful object?
스전이죠.
Anaidia, the mother of beasts and goddess of anguish, a protector, a being of stone made living.
금방 이기죠. 이겼죠?
Finally free of the corruption's hold, Anea gazed upon the Bergson, her emerald eyes weary with exhaustion.
네, 잠시 스캔 풀고 갈게요.
The Spirit's words took life, forming images to reveal what was hidden from the Bergsons. And us, spirits three, knelt before the mountain god U to swear fealty. Our wills were set on peace. His was set on testing ours. And as the test drew to a close, we discovered our wretched ending. As the mountain god exacted vengeance on the children of Rhea Dana and tainted Rhea with the corruption. Thus was another truth revealed to the Bergson, but many more were hidden still. Questions were abundant in the Bergsons' minds. If the mountain god was the source of the corruption, what had made him wreak such havoc? How had no one known about him before? They needed to find the next spirit, as maybe they had an answer to some of their questions. More truths awaited them in the land of the winds. And now the fire child was ready.
새로운 캐릭터 또 나왔죠.
It seemed like Kevin and Lucy discovered the animal pen that Uncle Ben had constructed sooner than they were supposed to. This new level of cooperation between animals of the wild and the Bergsons would surely please Rhea.
그럼 됐죠? 작업장으로 와서 다 안 되네요. 그냥 가보도록 하죠. 새로운 게이트가 있겠죠?
Nai Raha, the spirit of fealty, awaited the Bergsons somewhere in Berahat. Next portal, take the warriors there.
바라핫.
Once a lively place of merchants was now only a back alley of broken promises and death. Deep in the city of thieves, the path to Anai Raha's halls awaited. Dizzy, nauseated,
오염피로 같은 게
feverish.
있나 보네요.
The Bergson's mind unsettled from the incremental rise of the corruption. No longer were even they immune to its ill effects.
루시로 가죠. 루시 봅시다. 일단 스캔하고 갈게요. 네, 일단 스킬은 다 마스터 해줬고요. 굉장히 빨라지겠죠?
Sand swept across the land, scraping against the stone of a monument built not from devotion, but blood and sweat. Atop it stood Anai Raha, with the lost ruler Bushra waiting. Breaking the circle, prevent the summoning.
말뚝질이 굉장할 것 같아요. 그냥 가지고요. 보스가 벌써 왔네요.
The manipulator of the disenfranchised, the leader of rats, with fingers sharp as daggers and a soul lacking its humanity. Truth was, no one chooses the life of a thief. The crystal was calling the hero back, through a path opened anew from the sacred city of Anai Raha, the spirit of wind and weather. Bergson felt a strange weariness as home beckoned.
네. 스캔을 끄고 갈게요. 됐죠?
The chamber groaned and trembled, darkness replacing light. Above, the family waited to eat, comfort replacing vigilance. Snatched, gone, dread replacing happiness. One body was taken, but two souls were in need of rescue.
저기 구하러 가야 되네요. 분노 백등량 증가시켜주고요. 책은 아직 안 됐네요. 이쪽으로 가야죠. 동물들 이렇게 있고요. 동지가 괜찮네요.
The forest was dense and full of dangers, but finding Mary was the most important thing now.
한번 가야죠.
Somewhere out there, surrounded by the darkness, Mary and her unborn child lay in need. The Bergsons would find them.
이번엔 치트 없이 가볼게요. 그래도 이길 것 같아서.
Gluttonous and ravenous, it seized the lesser creature and took it into itself. Oh, the Guardian thought, for there was no time to waste. The forest grew quiet again. The respite from danger was only temporary.
쫓아오려?
Scarred. Rhea Dana's shrine, the catalyst to all that had happened, was no doubt nearby. There they were. The creature roared, but flight was no longer on the hero's mind. The Bergson now stood their ground, ready to take action.
켈빈 존나 세다.
Disbelief was not a strong enough word, and denial was not a luxury they could afford.
아 근데 죽었네요.
They knew all too well that Grandma Margaret was gone.
희생이네요.
A hero may fade, but they never disappear. Their actions left to echo through an eternity, carried by those lives they touched. No one could believe that Grandma Margaret had passed away. The Bergsons shed their tears, hearts filled with sorrow. Ben and John were shocked to their core. The letter left by their mother spoke of a terrible secret, the one way to stop the corruption. The only way, she claimed, was to sacrifice their soon-to-be-born child to the god of Mount Morta. It was unthinkable. Perhaps their mother had made a mistake, had somehow misinterpreted the signs and ciphers. John thought they should keep the letter a secret for now. Sometimes, just as you are getting ready to leave, someone arrives and you stay for them forever.
거의 나왔네.
Sheila's ring drew Ben's attention. The same ring that Sheila had always said belonged to her firstborn. This man was their son? Ben could not stop staring into Joey's eyes, the eyes that he had gotten from Sheila. When Joey informed his father of the many years since his mother's passing, Ben's heart felt cold. In that single moment, with the single gulp he drank, the memory of all the years with her passed through his mind. Regret became his companion then. It was not the warmth of the drink, but his son's touch that brought him out of the coldness within. Sheila was dead, but their son was here. Nostalgia of days lost mixed with dreams of days to come. He felt as if he was there when Joey had been born, when he had grown up and become the man he was now. Ben had already lost his wife, but that was in the past. And this was the future. A future they had to build now, together. Ready to fight alongside the other persons to clear a road to that future.
망치가 새로 나왔고요. 새로운 책은 없고요. 얘는 약간 한탄하고 있네요. 술병이 곧 피겠다고 하네. 왜 만찬을 하고 있고요.
John did not look up, dreading even the possibility of having to look his wife in the eye. How could he tell her so terrible a truth? Mark did not know what the truth was, only that something horribly heavy was weighing down his father's spirit. And Mary, oblivious, was daydreaming about the child she would soon bring into the world.
자, 챕터 선택 봅시다.
Although they were still mourning the loss of their grandma, they had to continue with their mission. 2 more spirits of Rhea needed to be freed and brought to the safety of their home. John thought they should be able to find the temple that housed Anairaha, the spirit of the winds, somewhere in the city of Barahat. Maybe he could shed some more light on the nature of the corruption and the mountain god. A colossal monument built to the ruler of Barahat, and the voice of Anairaha, Bushra herself. A twisted prison of hate and decadence.
조이가 나쁘지 않네요. 뭐죠? 지그라트. 일단 스캔 해주고 갈게요. 네, 일단 스킬은 다 찍었고요. 이런 느낌이죠. 쭉 갑시다.
A treasure rested above them, locked behind chance and memory. They needed to place foot upon stone. If silence reigned, they could continue on. But if alarms were to ring, they had to begin anew.
지그라트 두 번째 맵. 세 번째죠. 네, 마지막 맵입니다. 네 번째.
Everyone was encouraged to take part in a game of destiny. A prize awaited the fortuitous. There was only pain for the unfortunate.
네, 보스전입니다. 좋고요.
Anairaha, the god of the free wind, now tethered to the ground. His voice to the people is now just the warden of his prison.
금방 있죠. 잠시 치트 끄고 갈게요. 됐죠?
The air touched him, filling him and ruffling his feathers. He looked upon the Bergson, small and fragile, but so full of hope. Infectious hope. Perhaps this would be the last time.
네, 전전 완료했고요. 새로 떴네요.
The Spirit's words took life, forming images to reveal what was hidden from the Bergsons. And so it was their fate to do battle. The children of Dana, on the cusp of victory, would find their world overrun with the corrupted, drowning them. And when they could fight no more, they would bow to U's demand. But there was no salvation in fighting his corruption. By giving a heart-wrenching sacrifice, they would stay the gods' thirst for mere centuries. Truth revealed to the Bergsons, but there was still more hidden. The children of Dana, the Bergsons' destiny, and how much of it Grandma had found out before her demise were the subject of much speculation among the family. Speculation without certainty. When Linda told them about Mary's deterioration, they knew they had to do something to prevent another catastrophe. Mark tried to help with his knowledge of herbs. He knew that somewhere around Berahut was a tree, and an extract of its seeds might help stop Mary's chills and fever. But Berahut had surrendered to the corruption, and not even the trees were safe from it. The flying creature they were seeing in the sky filled Lucy with excitement. Could it be a dragon? However, Kevin had heard Mark say that there were no dragons left on Rhea, and he told Lucy the same.
새로운 놈이 왔죠?
It wasn't hard for Uncle Ben to guess that this strange woman was from the far north. The Bergsons were curious to know her reason for making such a long and arduous trip down south. The details Apon knew about fighting the corruption surprised the family and stirred more than a little respect for her. Yet more surprising was the fact that the wife of a tribe chief would take unto herself to journey south and give aid to the Bergsons. Apon joining in with the Bergsons would help them in their quest. Moreover, Mark could learn a thing or two from her in the art of combat.
네, 새로운 캐릭터, 마지막 캐릭터죠. A판까지 나왔고요. 일단 작업작 들어가서 보니까 아무것도 없고요. 얘도 없고요. 새로운 캐릭터 있죠? 창수를 쓰나고요.
Joey and Mark had not known each other for long. But as happens with some young men their age, a friendly rivalry was already taking shape.
바이올린. 경치는 좋네요. 일단 챕터 선택하러 봅시다. 아직도 발 아프시죠?
The beauty of the ancient ruins was still evident through the decay brought on by time and sand. But once humble living quarters were now slums, the muck of the corruption.
실업 구슬에 관해서 나온다는데 일단은 가보죠. 그리고 스캔을 할게요. 네, 일단은 스킬은 맥스를 찍었죠. 이 캐릭터가 나쁘지 않은 점이 있고 공격 범위가 넓다 보니까 이런 식으로 쉽게 잠복들을 제거해 줄 수 있죠. 체력도 준수하고요. 나쁘지 않죠. 범위가 넓어서 쭉 가줍니다. 두 번째네요. 보스전이죠? 벌써?
The tree of prosperity is withered after twisting away from Rhea's will.
뭔가
spirit cracked, his walk splintered, and left behind the seed that the Bergsons were looking for. No time to waste. Mary was waiting.
일단 치트 플레이하기에 그죠?
A sip of the potion was enough for Mary to open her eyes and for John to exhale with relief. Unbidden, pain shot up Mary's spine and filled her eyes. Something other than her illness. The baby was coming. It was time. The air was suddenly still. Mary's sickness had made them forget that the ravenous mountain god was after their baby. Curses! The black altar had come alive with an ominous will. Even Rhea's light couldn't keep it at bay, couldn't delay the evil of the sacrifice forced upon them. When John held her for the very first time, she was crying the song of life. Life was all that went through her father's mind. How he wished that he could give his own life instead of his baby's. But his life was worthless to the cruel god. Mary burst into tears. She feared that John was going to give up their baby to save the world, a world that at this moment was worth nothing at all to her.
불쌍하네요.
What chance did the Bergsons have against this monstrous cruelty of an immortal god? What a rotten fate that had doomed them to this destiny. How could John accept this heinous cycle of looming apocalypse and child sacrifice? His whole body shook from the conflict inside him. Every glance from his family was like a mortal wound to his heart. Would they let hope die this day? This could not be the end. No. Grandma had already sacrificed herself for them. There would be no more sacrifices. Together, they were going to break that cycle and defeat unjust fate. And the look in their eyes became one of resolve. For life, for hope. Would their decision bring even more of the mountain god's corrupted wrath upon them? They worried together, but each time they looked at Hope and saw her smile, resolve and belief in a better future would ease their worry.
네, 새로 맞죠? 책은 아직 해금 안 되고요. 얘는 아직도 이 판에 여기 있네요. 여기 있었는데 악마가. 챕터 선택합시다.
Was not defending their home more important than saving yet another spirit? Was there any other way to defeat Wu? Many questions remained without answers. They knew of no other way than freeing Anai Sarawak, the third and final spirit, the spirit of dreams, one who could answer more of their questions.
네, 마지막 땅입니다.
The industrial district of Terralava, a city with no time for daydreams, where machines continued tinkering away and Anai Sarava's chamber resided.
이 판 나오죠? 얘로 갑시다. 일단 스캔하고 갈게요. 303이죠? 가죠? 체력 스캔 나쁘지 않네. 공업지구 길이 여기인 것 같은데. 다음 지역으로 왔습니다. 뒤로 가야겠지. 찾아보자.
A curious automaton rummaged through a pile of scrap. It was fully machine, but more human than its hostile ilk, appearing as an innocent little girl. What was such a fragile child doing alone down here?
위험네요. 자, 어디로 가야 될지 찾아봅시다. 잡혔죠?
It was laughing and shaking the small girl, just like any other bully. And a Berkser knows how to deal with bullies.
일단 끝났죠?
With the common foe defeated, the little automaton's trust was earned.
오,
Dust and decay hung in the stale air. The man sat motionless.
감사합니다. 힘을 보내는 거죠?
The machine called out, but the silence could not reply. Nothing remained for the little automaton in the hollow room. It was all alone.
귀엽네요. 이쪽에 있죠? 쭉 돌아갑니다. 여기였죠? 처음 만난 게. 다음 지역. 마지막 지역이죠. 돌아다니면서 출구를 찾죠. 여기도 아닌 것 같죠? 밑으로 가면 여기네. 보스죠? 보스는 말뚝딜로 금방 이길 수 있게 만듭니다.
Gears continued to crank on in the distance, for the city must survive.
금방 이기죠?
Now, even more soulless than before, without life, and as if none had ever existed within the gears, and a new road forward opened with the jewel of life.
일단 스캔 풀고 갈게요. 봐줍시다.
The Bergson stood at the gates of Anai Sarava, but caution dictated going back and informing the others.
변전 완료.
Were they cursed? The more they moved ahead, the more the corruption came forth. Blocked from light, everything withers. The Bergsons wondered what dangers could lie ahead still. She did not speak, just sat there in silent sorrow. And try as they might, the family could not console little automaton.
오토마토는 어딨죠? 일단 이건 냅두고요. 얘는 이러고 있고 물구나무. 애가 태어났죠? 영상. 아이고. 여기도 까맣게 변했네요. 어둡게. 바깥의 경관이 안 보이기 시작했죠? 그러면 다음으로 가기 전에 잠깐 쉬고 갈게요. 자, 계속 갑시다. 마지막 방이죠?
The darkness threatened to overwhelm them, but they needed to unshackle the last spirit as soon as possible. Free of his earthly shackles, Ane Sarava still remained a prisoner of his own creation, Area 30, his workshop, and Jin's birthplace.
네, 스캔 해주고 갈게요. 쭉 찾으러 가봅시다. 여기 브레이크가
Being caged by the corruption would be frightening enough, but being surrounded by the magma created additionally intimidating confinement. The gruff man cracked his fingers and nodded in appreciation. "Come find me if you ever feel lucky," he grumbled. "I might have something in a bag for you."
복잡하네. 여기도 아닌데. 이쪽이라고?
Bellagio the Odd sought another game of cat and bird.
그래서
Do not linger. Bellagio fled further.
그죠?
Relishing the chase, she accepted defeat.
뭐야? 닭고기는 알이냐? 살짝 붙었죠? 이게 안 보이네. 여기다. 방지요. 세 번째 마지막 장. 보스죠? 보스전입니다.
Ane Sarava, the architect of Terra Lava, and the creator of Jinn, a machine meant to serve the land, not oppress it.
기랑이죠? 네, 스캔 풀어주고 갈게요. 봅시다.
The air became aggressive, the temperature rising as energy returned. returned to the Mighty One and flowed through his veins. Anais Harava was free again. As the spirit gazed upon the family, he felt something different, something unusual. Perhaps this could indeed be the final cycle.
전전 완료했고요. 마지막 전전까지 끝냈죠?
The spirit's words took life, forming images to reveal what was hidden from the Bergsons. Excitement filled the empty space. The promise made was now a promise fulfilled. The rock appeared on the horizon, and the boundless wonder ended. Journey had met destination. And the vagabond son of the heavens became the mountain god. His heart skipped, his mind echoed with music. His breath caught when the daughter of Rhea stole his heart and carved it with her name, Rhea Dana. Two became a pair, mates joined in happiness. Who willed to elevate Rhea's creatures.
운명을 건설했다는 거네.
From her wisdom, 3 spirits were created to guard the eons. And they lived 1,000 years in bliss. Until Rhea Dana bore him a daughter. The mountain god could not stand her as he envied the child. Furious, he raged at Rhea Dana. And she left him. He wore the grudge as if it were a crown, one made of corruption. Cursing the name of Rhea Dana's daughter, he descended into resentment. Thus was the truth revealed to the Bergsons, and the origin of the corruption.
이제 오염이 왜 생겼는지 알게 되었죠? 집도 약간 많이 침식을 당했네요.
Pity or anger. The Bergsons stood shocked, not knowing how to react to the story. The important thing, however, was to break the cycle of evil. But they still did not know what awaited the Children of Morta in the temple of the mountain god.
네, 챕터 선택으로 갑시다.
Their final destination was on the other side of that gate. The ending was nigh.
하네시를 찌르면 되죠. 봅시다.
Whose territory? The domain of the corrupt deity of the mountain
왜
is the
신전이죠?
final step.
얘로 가져오고요. 그리고 시트 키면 되겠죠? 체력을 스캔하겠습니다. 그 전에 아이템 루팅 해주고요.
Upon the throne, the mountain god U himself, without Rheadena's love, the darkness had swollen inside him, consuming and uncontainable.
누가 있네요. 가족들이 나왔죠. 잠시만요. 스캔하고 갈게요.
And without Rheadena's love, jealousy would swallow her children. Heavy as iron and difficult to breathe in, the air burned their lungs. It was pitch black. The light meant protection and hope. And the Bergson had to rescue the others as well. Darkness knew that these final steps were to be taken shoulder to shoulder.
어디까지 갈지 모르겠네요. 나 이렇게 가도 되나?
Two more Bergsons found, but they all were still in danger from the darkness.
아, 죽었다.
The rest of the family had to be saved. There it was, the protection of another light.
잠시만요. 계속 가죠. 잘 놀고 있네. 그러고 있죠? 다시 가줍시다. 다시 스캔할게요.
Dana's love, jealousy would swallow her children. Heavy as iron and difficult to breathe in, the air burned their lungs.
장단점이 스킵하고요.
Darkness knew that these final steps were to be taken shoulder to shoulder. Of another light. Two more Bergsons found, but they all were still in danger in the darkness. The rest of the family had to be saved. Yet another light, fending off the darkness. For now, time was short and haste was needed. The final battle was nearing its end. The Bergsons knew that this was the final step. Love must prevail over hatred. The Supreme One, Master of all and Master of nothing. His greatest fear was made absolute. He was left alone. Left alone to his misery and failure, to the unending cycle of despair and pain. He wished for its end, wished to bathe in an eternal darkness. Mercy prevailed as the wheel had turned back to kindness. That which was expelled from the heart returned. All the time apart melting away, along with all the pain, all the sadness, and all the misery. Land met sky, two became one. Love ignited rapture as innocence flooded the space between breaths. Happiness and curiosity weaved, mixed, and tangled in a dance, a millennium in coming.
화려하죠.
As the one ascended, but will never leave, our family looked upon the mountain and land over which they were given ward. A family left exhausted was now more complete than before.
A god once stricken with grief was now whole, and a land once cast into chaos was now left in serene balance. As the story comes to its conclusion, remember this.
과정이죠.
When the time spent in this land is looked back upon, when daring feats are recited along with victories and defeats, remember that it was not a tale of heroes or villains, nor of good and evil, but one of family, and above all else, a tale of love. Go now, Guardian, and never forget.
네, Children of Morta였습니다. 아직도 이어지네요. 일러스트 하나는 굉장히죠. 네, Children of Morta였습니다. 네, 여기까지 하도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 야, 멋있네요, 근데. 아직도 이러고 보트가 예쁘긴 해요. 네, 여기까지 하도록 하겠습니다.